Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to this week's Friday Live on a Wednesday. I received this month's paper pumpkin kit earlier this week. Mine was delayed. Mine was one of the ones that was delayed. So that's why this video is coming to you so late this month. But you know that when I get my kit, I always love to scrapbook with it. So that's what we're going to do with it today. So first of all, let's talk about what is in the kit. All right, actually, let me introduce myself first. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and usually Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, I go live for a Facebook Live. And every month when I get my paper pumpkin kit, I always do a scrapbook layout using it. This month, the video is coming a little bit late because, like I said, my kit arrived a little late. And the Friday Live is now on a Wednesday because I've got something going on this weekend. All right. So this month's kit, it's called World's Greatest, and it's really meant to celebrate our everyday heroes, which is perfect for right now because there are so many of them. It's really cute. Like, look at these cards that it makes. Let me pull them out. Okay. So it's my son's birthday tomorrow. So this is his card. So, and I basically copied it exactly as is, except I personalized this using the Make a Difference alphabet set. Good morning, Wanda. Good morning, Janie. And I put sun. So World's Greatest Sun, but it's just so pretty. And I mean, these kits are so simple. I love them. And even if I don't necessarily need 9 of these cards, I'll make one of them and then I'll use the rest of the product on something different. And there's tons of alternate ideas. And then here's another one. As soon as I stamped this, I come from a military background. So I thought some of the pages or some of the photos that I have of my dad in uniform, that would be perfect. So if you've got somebody like that in your life that you want to scrapbook, this is a great kit for that. And even though you can't order it anymore, you may be able to get a refill kit, but I'm not sure. I do have 2 extra kits, so if you're local to me and you want a kit, that would be great. The other thing this would be great for is if you've got kids in different activities, sports, or even school photos. I can see using this for that as well. And then look at this. If you're a teacher, wouldn't this be cute? You could make some of these for some of the students in your class, and it's a little shaker card. Okay, so there's some ideas for you on how you can use this kit. Here's a little peek at what's to come next month. So it is, does it say what it is? Autumn themed treat packages. So, and what's great about this kit is what they've done is you can pick or choose whether you want to do autumn themed. So if you want to do something for your Thanksgiving dinner table, or for treats for coworkers, you could do something like that, or you could do it for Halloween. So there's a mix of both. So you can kind of see some little Halloween things mixed in here, as well as some pumpkin theme things. So, and you're able to pick this kit up until September 10th. Okay. All right, let's see, back to this month's kit. Now the stamp set, it's got this great big image, which I could see using as a background on a page. And then this is that bit for the medal. Number 1, coach, friend, world's greatest. This calls for a celebration. Teacher, kid, you deserve a medal and you're the best. So lots of great greetings in there. It shows you on the back the 3 cards, and then it gives you some alternate ideas. When I saw this, I'm thinking I need to do a back to school page. I'm going to create a little pencil with number 1 all over it. I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to make a really cute back to school page. The coordinating colors are Bumblebee, Gold, Mint Macaron, Pacific Point, Soft Suede, and White. I'm going to take that and tweak it a little bit to make it work with the photos that I'm doing today. And then you get, so every month you get an exclusive stamp set. The only way you can get this stamp set is in this current month's paper pumpkin kit. You get a Stampin' Spot, and you usually get some adhesive. There's usually mini glue dots and dimensionals in there. And then you get all the pre-cut supplies to create whatever the project is for that month. Okay, so there's lots of bits and pieces in here. And look at these. Because one of the cards is a shaker card, It's all done for you. It's so simple. Everything is pre-cut. These you just pop out and assemble. The only thing I had to cut was my ribbon to make those cards. There's some great watercolor wash kind of background pieces. There's some pieces here. You get 3 of these little trophies. You get some die cut leaves. These are vellum leaves. And then these different shapes. So there's some rectangles, larger ones and smaller ones, and a couple different size circles. You get the window sheet for the shaker card, some envelopes, and some card bases. So, and that's, I mean, it varies slightly every month depending on what the project is, but that's what's included in this kit. And so let me share what we're going to do with this kit today. Let me just slide this stuff out of the way. Okay, so the first thing I did when I saw the kit was I looked through, I've got this little, let me share it with you here. I've got this little notebook, and in it I have jotted down all of my scrapbook albums and what still needs to be done in those albums. So I went through and tried to find, I went through my list and thought, okay, what kinds of photos could I scrapbook that would work with this kit? And I had some of my son's ball hockey photos. So I went to that year and I pulled it out. So this is what it looks like in my album. So it's got, this was the page, this is how I organize it. And then this page obviously is done. And then I flipped it over, and on this side I have 2 photos stuck in here. Now I had to replace one of the photos with just a 4x6 piece of white because it's a team photo and I did not want to include that. So we'll say that this is a team photo and then a single photo of him. So this one is horizontal, this one's vertical. So this is what we're going to scrapbook today. And then this was the facing page. So it's a pocket page, and you can see that it's not completely finished, because what I do when I have time is the first step is, well, obviously the first step is printing my photos. Second step is putting them in order in their albums. And if they'll work with pocket pages, I'll use a pocket page and I will tuck the photos into the pockets. And then sometimes I'll go back, and if I've got cards that I think might work okay with them, I will tuck them into those slots. And then the next bit would be to come back and embellish and add journaling. And I knew that I wouldn't do anything with this kit until I scrapbooked the pages on the left-hand side, or the photos on the left-hand side. So these things, because they're pockets, they're all interchangeable. So if I decide not to use them, I'll just take them out and replace them with something else, and I can use them on a different project. Okay, that's just what works for me. That's how I organize my photos. So we're going to work with this, and you'll see that some of these things, some of these elements I'll keep. Some of them I will end up just putting them away and using them on something else. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the left-hand page, which is a solid 12 by 12, and then we'll come back and we'll tweak this a little bit so that it coordinates with the left-hand page. Okay? All right. So to get started, I went through and I pulled out some cardstock that coordinates. So these 2 colors, Pacific Point and Bumblebee, those are in the kit. I know I will likely use those, but the other color that was in the kit is Mint Macaron. And when I look at these photos, the mint just doesn't work. So what I did instead of using the mint, I pulled out some pumpkin pie so I could pull in the orange from the ribbon or the metal. So I'm going to replace the mint macaron with pumpkin pie. Okay. I also pulled in some of the gold stars. I believe these were from last month's kit. I think it was called Summer Nights. I hardly used any of them. And I know that I will likely use some of these gold elements. Let's see, where's that sheet? I will likely use some of these. So I thought I might want to pull in some more gold in different areas of my layout. So I pulled those out in case I want to use them. And then I usually pull out kind of one of each of the pieces here. So I've got, this was actually in there. The 2 different size circles, the 2 different size rectangles, the shaker card, the window sheet, this piece, and then the 3 card bases. One of them is just white, and then there's this one and this one. I likely won't use this one. Same with these pieces. I probably won't use those unless maybe I use the back. But this is really cool. I'll probably just save that and use it for a different project. Okay, so, and then I pulled out, I need a base. So I pulled out a white 12 by 12 base. And then I also went to my washi collection because as crafters, you know, we always have lots of washi tape. Because I thought it would be fun to add some washi strips. The other reason was I went through my patterned paper, and we don't have a ton of 12 by 12 patterned paper that is Pacific Point or Bumblebee. Well, there's a few Bumblebee pieces, but I didn't want to cut into them, and I knew I would only use them in small bits. So I decided to go for washi tape instead. Okay, so that's what we're starting with. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do a washi strip. This is perfect because it's got stars. I think it's crushed curry. It's not Bumblebee, but it's close enough. And I'm going to just put a strip all the way across the bottom. So my plan for this particular layout, that is not straight. My plan for this particular layout is to kind of do most of it in the center of like a whole strip across the center of the page. So like a chunk right here. So that's my plan. Okay, so I left it a little long and I'll just fold it to the back. Washi tape is great for like little strips of patterns. Okay, so I'll do that, and then I'm going to do it along the top too. Okay. So has anybody else received, oh my gosh. Has anybody else received their kit? I don't know if it was all Canadians who were delayed or if there were some people in the US that were delayed as well. But it seems like everybody I talked to, their kit was delayed. Okay, so fold that over. Okay. Now I'm going to add my photo. So I've got 2 4x6 photos, one vertical. And remember, pretend this is a photo. This is a group photo, horizontal, that I will replace with the actual photo afterwards. Okay, and I'm going to grab some temporary adhesive because I want to stick this down so that it holds its place. First thing I'll do is stick this guy down. Okay. Good morning, Christine. All right, so that's going to go down like that. And then this I will use just a little bit of temporary adhesive. Make sure it's straight. And I'm going to line it up with the right hand side of the page. Okay, so now we're going to do something, I believe it's called color blocking, where we kind of fill in these gaps with various things. I love, love, love this pattern, and it happens to work out perfectly. Because of the blue and the yellow. So the colors, I mean, it's just, they were meant to be. So this is a card front or a card base. So it does have a score line down the center, but that doesn't matter to me. Nobody is going to notice that once you get it on your page. So I'm just going to make a point of not folding along that because I don't want to reinforce that it was there or emphasize that it's there. But I do love that they printed the same pattern on both the front and the back. So it's like you have a larger piece, a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of patterned paper to work with rather than just a 4¼ by 5½. Oh, Janie, your kit was delayed too? Good morning, Elaine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to measure this space between this photo and the end. So I've got 8 inches, and I guess if I had taken 12 and minus 4, yes, that would give me 8. And then I'm going to measure this space. I've got 2 inches. Again, 4 inches minus 6, that makes sense. Okay, so 2 by 8. So what I want to do is I want to have a little bit of a border in between, like a little bit of the white showing between my photo and where the patterned paper starts, but I want the patterned paper to go all the way up to the top. So I want to keep this piece as big as possible so that it gives me options to use it somewhere else. So it's 2 inches. I want to leave about 1/8 of an inch, but only on one side. So I'm going to cut it down to 1 7/8 of an inch all the way across. And by doing that smallest cut first, that leaves me with the biggest piece left so that I can use this for something else. This would be cute actually if you cut it, folded it in half, and then cut it so that it was a square. You could do a square card with that. Okay, and then the other measurement was 8 inches. And again, I want it to go right to the edge, but leave 1/8 of an inch here. So 8, so I'll do 7 7/8 of an inch. This piece I will keep because it could be a perfect little accent up at the top, or I could use it for something else. Okay, so that piece is going to go right there. And then I need something to go in here. And I'm thinking this piece would work really well. Okay. Now this does have stitching around it, so I'm going to keep that in mind when I cut it, because I know that the stitching isn't going to be intact all the way around. So let's give this a measure. 2 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so let's bring this back. And how much is this? Okay, so I will need about 3 7/8, and I want to make sure I'm cutting off both sides so that I cut off those, hang on, yeah, 3 7/8. Yeah, so I'm cutting off the stitching, as much as I'd hate to do that because I love stitching. 3 7/8. So let's just make sure. And you know what? That should have been 4 inches. That's okay. We'll fix it. Okay, 3 7/8, and then I said by 2 inches. This time I do want there to be a gap on both sides. I don't want it to line up. So again, I want to cut off both sides. So let's just trim this one just a little bit. This one a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna do, I like this side because there's a little bit more variation. So I'm gonna flip it around, and I need it to be 1 3/4. Okay. All right, so that's gonna go right in there. Okay, so we're gonna have to do something to cover that over there. Okay, so we can go ahead and stick these pieces down. I'll line my T-square ruler right up with the top of the photo. That will allow me to get this piece straight. Let's put the temporary adhesive away so I don't start using that. Okay, so I'm lining it up with the right hand side of the page and then right with the top of my ruler, or the straight edge of my ruler. There we go. And then I am going to leave the gap there. So I could move it up like this and leave the gap down here. Let me think about this. Okay, so I want to do an embellishment there. And then here and here. There, there, and there. Yeah, I am going to line it up with the bottom because I think I'm more apt to do something here. Okay, so we'll add some adhesive here. And this is easy enough to line up. Okay, there we go. And this will look much better when this is filled in with a photo. Okay, so now let's think about what we want to do for our accents. So let me pull in the stamp set. I'm thinking this was when they were being awarded their medals. So I really want to do a medal. So what I'm going to do is, let me think here. So on the cards, they stamp and add everything to this. That could work. Let's give it a shot. Let's try it. So I'm going to stamp my ribbon in pumpkin pie so that it coordinates with my photos. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I think soft suede was one of the colors that coordinates with this kit, although there isn't really soft suede in anything, I don't think. But I'm going to replace that with basic gray. And one of the reason for that is because remember the pocket page that I shared at the beginning of the video that we're going to tweak? That biggest card was I need to move this off here because I can't see. The biggest card is basic gray. And I think I want to just tweak that card just a little bit, but I still want to use it. So I will likely incorporate some basic gray on this page. Look at that, love it. Okay, and then we'll finish off our medal. We'll grab this little circle, and what greetings do we have here? Number one, I can't remember what place they I can't remember if they were number one or not. Well, I'm going to say they were. Okay, so we'll use this, and this is where I think I'll pull in the basic gray and I'll stamp this in gray. Right on the circle. And then we're going to finish our layers. So we'll bring in that gold piece and pop this out. So this is how simple this is. Like seriously, these kits are amazingly simple. This will go on first. We'll put it on flat. I have a picture that I used I scrapbooked just recently, and it's not quite finished. I was holding off because I was humming and hawing over what to use as an embellishment on the layout. And it's a picture of my dad in uniform, like not even thinking that this kit was coming in, but it was he's in uniform, and he was being awarded by a medal by the Governor General. This was a number of years ago. And as soon as I opened this box and saw this, I thought this is going to make for the perfect embellishment on that page. So I'm so glad that I didn't finish it off. Okay. All right, so let's see how this looks. I'm thinking that piece needs to be a little longer, or I've got this washi tape too. Maybe what I'll do is, I think I'm going to add a strip of washi tape across the bottom here. And then wonder if I could do, that might be a bit too much with the dots and the stars. That over top, or do I just want it plain? I think I like it just plain. Okay, so this can get popped up. You know what? I think I would like this better if this was cut out. So I'm going to peel this off and I'm going to fussy cut this. So does anybody else have any ideas on what kind of cards you're going to make for using this kit, or pages that you're going to use it for? I think it's great for kids' birthday cards. Like I said, I made my son's birthday card with it. All right. Had I known that I was going to do this, this would have been better to do off camera, but that's okay. And I haven't decided, does anybody have any good ideas on what I could do for a title? I'm not even sure I want to include a title because it's going next to a pocket page, and the pocket page will have the journaling. I don't even know if I'm going to include a title. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I think I like that better. Okay, so we'll pop this up using some dimensionals, and then I'm going to pop this up as well. Let's put it the right way around. So for those of you, good morning, Kim, those of you who, excuse me, who scrapbook and have lots of stamps, I have a class coming up. We start next week, and it's all, it features, or it's all focused around creative ways. That looks so much better. I love that. It focuses on creative ways to use stamps in your scrapbooks. So that's one thing that I noticed, that I was getting away from using stamps in my scrapbooks. So I really wanted to create a class where I really dug into creative ways to use my stamps, and I'm so excited for this class. I've got so many things planned. Okay, now that I stuck that down, I'm thinking I need to do this strip. No, that's too much. Okay. Okay, so we need to cover over this spot. Let's see what we can do to get creative here. That might work. So I could do another one of these without the metal part. Yeah, that's perfect. Just need a little something to cover up my little oopsie there. Okay, let's clean this. We'll grab another one of those smaller circles. I have those vellum leaves. I don't know that the vellum leaves are really the right thing for this layout, though. Let's Let's just have a look here. Did I pull out any of those? No, I didn't. I do have this fun trophy. We'll see. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one accent, this one more accent to fill in this spot, and then I'll pull in the pocket page. I'll do the pocket page, and then I may come back and add more to this page or add something to this page, depending on how the pocket page turns out. I think I'm going to need to bring in some more orange. Which actually just gave me an idea here. I'm going to try something. So I've got my scrap of orange. I'm just going to grab my little mini paper cutter here and cut maybe a 1/4 inch strip or 1/2 inch strip. And what if I did flag the end of this and this end? Okay, so what if I did this? A little bit shorter. Yeah, that's a perfect way to bring in a little bit more orange. Actually, you know what? I just had another idea. What if I did it? No, I think I like this better. So I cut this in half, and I'm going to add these two together. And then I'll do that. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, and then pop this up. So, and I'm thinking once you run out of these, I didn't confirm it, I didn't double check, but this looks very similar to the shape that is in, let me pull it out so that we can double check. I've got it right here, I think it's handy. Because I was thinking, well, what am I going to use after those are all done? Oh, it's not quite the same size. This is just a little bit bigger. So you could use that one, and I think it would still look good. This one's a little bit smaller. So when you run out of these gold bits, if you still want to continue to use the metal, the Tasteful Labels, that shape in there, that might work. Or if you have maybe, or one of our layering circles, the scallop in there, that might work as well. There's a few different size scallops in there. Okay, so I mean, this is a super simple layout, very simple. Now we're going to pull in the pocket page, and we're going to create a facing page for it. Okay. So there's a few things about this that I do not like. I don't like the pink, but I do love the gray. I love the today, and I love this idea of it. Let me pull these out because there's quite a bit of glare here. Okay. So I'll pull everything out and just leave it configured. And then there's navy blue. We're not using navy blue, so I might change that out. That way you guys will be able to see. We'll keep it in configuration. Okay. So, all right. So that's what it looks like. So some of the things that I know I do want to change. So this one, we're going to change over that. So I'm going to just cover that over, but I'm going to use that idea because I love that idea. This I love, even though the colors are not perfect, the only thing I'm going to change is that heart. I'll probably cover it over. This I'm going to take out because the navy blue does not work with this. This background I might keep. This, what I did was I had a 3x4 photo, and this is my kind of cheater way to do these kinds of things. If I have an extra 3x4 photo and not another 3x4 pocket, is I will take a 3x4 photo and a 3x4 card and then just use a scrap piece of white cardstock and attach them together so that it's almost like they're a 4x6 piece. And I love this brick background, so that's going to stay. I'm quite happy with that. And then here, I love this saying, but I might cut this down, or I might just get rid of this completely. Okay, so let's think about this here. First of all, let's replace that one. I have this piece left. I could cut a 3x4 out of that, so I think I'm going to do that. And that way we can get rid of that navy blue. Okay. So that was an easy fix. Okay, so we'll set that aside. I'll put that in with my 3x4 cards. And then, let's see here. So we've got this trophy, but I actually don't think they actually got a trophy, so I'm not sure. I actually added this clip on here. I kind of like it. So I'm not sure I'm going to use the trophy for this. But I do want to do the shaker card idea. I loved that idea. So I thought that it might be fun to turn this into a shaker with a photo on the inside. So I thought that might be a fun idea. So let's try that. Okay, first we need to get rid of the mint. And yes, the mint matches this, but there's no mint anywhere else. And like I said, this might be one of the things that I get rid of. So my only question is it going to be thick enough if I cut off the mint? I think it should still work. It's just what I'm concerned about is when I cut off the mint, is there going to be enough room for me to add my dimensionals in there to create the little shaker pocket? So we'll just give it a shot, see if it works. So I definitely don't want to cut off any more than I need to. I've actually never done a shaker pocket with a photo in behind. I think it'll be fun. Okay. So let's measure that because that's going to need a mat. Maybe I'll pull in the orange. So how big is this? This measures 2 3/4 by, this one isn't big enough. Let's get my regular paper cutter here. 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. Okay, so I need a little bit. I'm going to do an orange mat. Let's grab a pumpkin pie scrap that's a little bit bigger, and let's see if it'll fit. No. Okay, so I need to grab a full piece of pumpkin pie. So like I said, that measured 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. So I will cut it 3 by 4 3/8. That will give me 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Good morning, Michelle. We are scrapbooking with this month's paper pumpkin kit. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be nice to pull in that orange, and this won't be, that'll be covered over. So now the next thing I need to do is I need to trim my photo. So I'm going to position this over top, and then we're going to get really technical, and I'm just going to make a mark so I can cut a straight line. Make it just a little bit smaller, but not too small. Michelle, I do, well, I like both paper cutters. This is handy when I do my videos, and when I'm doing just small little pieces, this is perfect because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And I am a guillotine cutter lover. I love guillotine cutters because they never dull. You never have to sharpen them. And you can cut such narrow strips with a guillotine cutter that you can't necessarily cut with a regular paper cutter. So I do love my little mini paper cutter. Okay, so now we need to add our window sheet so our shaker doesn't fall out. So that was 2 3/4. I'm just going to cut it a sliver smaller. And then I'll use some adhesive to stick this on. Where's my adhesive? Okay. So that's going to go on like that. The other thing that I need to do is I need to stick my photo down to the orange piece. Try to get it as close to the center as I can. Before I push that down, I'm just going to make sure. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now to create the shaker pocket, or the raised bit, now we did get these, but I'm going to save this for another larger shaker pocket that I make. For this particular part, I am going to use our foam adhesive strips, but if you don't have these, use what came in the paper pumpkin kit. So these are just long strips of foam adhesive that you can manipulate. Look at that, it just fits. So I'm just going to go around the circle. I'll grab another piece. And you don't want any gaps because you don't want your sequins to fall out. Although this isn't super fine sequins that I'm going to use. But sometimes if you're using glitter or anything in your pockets or in your shakers, you definitely want to make sure that there are absolutely no gaps. Otherwise all the stuff falls out. Okay, there we go. Stick that back on. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that everything is stuck down. So we'll stick this down to the center of this card. So this is just one of our old, oh look at that, it's just the back of that. It's just one of our older, retired, I don't know if this was a Memories and More card pack or if this was a Project Life pack. It's quite a bit older. Okay. And then in this fabulous kit, we got some gold sequins. So, and they're in the shape of stars, which is perfect. So I'm just going to dump a bunch on here. Should be good. And then I'll peel off this backing. And try to get it as centered as possible. It's crooked. It might have to stay that way. Yeah, I'm not going to try to peel that off. And there we go. We've got a little shaker with a photo on the inside. The other thing I'm going to do, and I should have done this before, is these corners, I'm just going to put a little piece of the same dimensional strip in the back. And I use the same dimensional strip so it's the same height. Because if you mix and match, it's not always the same height. So if I were to pull in these, I find, actually you can see, those are not the same height. So I want it to be consistent all the way across. So I'll just use a piece of these, and that'll give those corners just a bit more stability. Okay, so next I think we'll work on this one. And I may still add something to this because this is quite a bit of white. It'll be fun to do something to that. So maybe I can add an accent or something. I'll have to have a look. Okay. All right, cute. Okay, so like I said, I just want to get rid of this pink. So let's have a look here. In the set, this calls for a celebration. I think this will work. And I think I'm going to pull in the bumblebee this time. And actually, this strip that we had left over from cutting it, I could use that. I'm going to give this a clean so I can use this block. Let's cut a strip. What size do I need here? So I want it to be at least as wide as this. So this is 3/8 of an inch. So I might just do like a 1/16 more than 3/8 of an inch. And this doesn't go that small. Let's see. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll line it right up with the edge here. Yeah, I think that yellow will be perfect. And that way I still get to use the card, but it gets rid of that pink. Okay, so now this is not going to fit on there, but I could do it because it's a stamp. I could ink up part of it and stamp it as one full line. So the tricky bit is there is, it's hard to tell, but the F goes down into the word celebration. So I normally do not like using markers with photopolymer stamps because I find that the ink just doesn't adhere very well. So I'm going to test it out. So, and I'm going to be careful around that A so that I don't ink up the bottom of the F. I just want to see how well this shows up. And you know what? It's not too bad. I'll make it work. Okay. So I'm going to ink that up again. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean this. And then I'm going to take my white eraser and just give it a rub. And then clean it again. And then maybe it'll adhere just a little bit better. I do that with solid images. when they're photopolymer. I find it makes the ink adhere a little bit better. You don't normally need to do it with words, but because I'm using a marker, maybe it will help. Okay. So this will go closer to the right-hand side. That did work. There you go. So there's a little trick for you. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do is just make sure there's no residue left on this. Just give it a huff, stamp it down on my scrap. Okay, and now I'll ink up the top bit. Stamp this over here. There we go. So just the top of my A there didn't quite come out. Perfect. Okay, I like that. That's going to be a perfect little way to cover up that pink that I don't want. And that's another way that you can manipulate your stamps to make them work for you, because that one was on 2 lines and I want it all on 1 line. Okay. So then we'll pop that up using some dimensionals, and then that card is done. So for those of you who are just joining in late, we're using this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. I created a 12 by 12 page, and then this is the facing pocket page that I'm working on, and I had these cards added in, but the page was not finished, and I'm just tweaking it so that the facing page coordinates with the page that I created. Okay, so this is good. Now let's work on the bottom here. Let's see, what have we got left that we haven't used? Okay, I've got this circle. Okay, I know what we're gonna do. Okay, so I want to replace this one, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Oh, that's, but I really like that. You know what, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm going to save that for something else. We're going to replace this one. We're going to do a 4 by 6 piece of honeybee. So let's see if I've got a scrap of honeybee. So we're going to really bring, or not honeybee, bumblebee. No, so I need a full sheet. Grab a full sheet. And my paper cutter. Oh, that's a 12-inch sheet. We don't want to use that. Okay, so 4 by 6. Because the other page had quite a bit of yellow on it, and so far this page doesn't have much yellow. Okay, so I want to dress this up a little bit. So the other thing that I had pulled out that I thought would work really great with this kit is the Absolutely Argyle embossing folder, because we've got the Argyle embossing, or the Argyle pattern on this patterned paper. Actually, it's on all of the patterned paper. So it was on this one, and it was also on this one. So this is a great addition if you're looking to stretch your kit a little further. You can pick up the Absolutely Argyle embossing folder. Okay, so we are going to add that Argyle pattern to this piece. Let's see which way. I think this way. Okay. So either way, it's not a full 6 by 6. So either way, I'm going to end up with a little bit of a gap on either side, or a little bit of a gap on this side. I think what I'll do is I'll do it this way. I'm going to line it up right with the edge of the pattern here, so that on this side there's a little gap, and maybe I'll pull in a strip of washi tape to cover over that gap. Okay, so let's, you know what, instead of moving my big boss machine over here, I'm just going to emboss this off screen. So just bear with me for just a second so that I don't have to move everything around. Okay, look at that texture on that. So stunning. So you can see that right at the edge, there's a little bit of a gap. And you know what? It's not super noticeable. I wouldn't necessarily have to do anything with that, but because of who I am, I need to fix that. So I'm just going to take a piece of this washi tape that I had pulled out and used on the previous page. And just cover over that. And then you won't even notice that. There we go. Okay, so what are we going to add on here to dress it up? And I think I am going to use the, where did my stamp set go? Here it is. Okay, I think I'm going to use the big circle. Okay, seriously. I just had a Pacific Point circle here. Here it is. Okay, and I think I might do this. Okay, and there were a couple reasons why I did that. Let me explain here. Okay, first of all, I feel that this right here is a lot of Pacific Point, and there isn't a lot of Pacific Point on this part. So that's thing number one that my eye was drawn to. The second thing is circle, circle. There's no circles on this page. So by flipping this over and putting it here and moving this over a little bit, I have brought some of the Pacific Point over to this side, and then my circles are kind of opposite each other. So that was my reasoning behind doing that way. Okay, so this is meant to go on here with this stamped image. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I think I'm going to do it in orange because I've got that little bit of orange up there, but then no other orange. So I'm going to do it in pumpkin pie. This out of the way. This is always tricky. I always much prefer stamping before I punch, but because this is already punched for me, I don't love how it turned out. Let's try it again on the other side. It's so hard to see. See if this is any better. Perfect. Okay. All right, so then we're going to create this little accent. Okay, so this is our pocket page so far, and we'll use one of these. This will bring in the gold from up there and then the gold that's on the other page. And then when I show you my 2-page spreads, you'll notice that there's 3 of these gold pieces. This might be, so this is the ribbon that's in this kit. This might be good to put across like this. Okay, so let me grab my ribbon scissors so we can trim that up. Okay. All right, now what are we going to stamp in the center here? Let's clean this. Okay, we did number 1 on the other page, and you deserve a medal. What else is on here? You're the best. World's greatest. Maybe we'll do the you're the best. Okay, and I think I'm going to stamp it in the gray to pull in some of that gray. If I can find my gray ink pad. There it is. And I need another one of those white circles. Okay, so let's trim the ends of these. Here's a little trick for you. If you're flagging the end of ribbon, of a piece of ribbon, if you fold it in half with the fold at the top and then cut from the bottom up, you get a nice perfect flagged end. So I'm going to fold this piece in half and do the same, and then I'll add a little bit of adhesive across the center. Add my ribbon, just like that, and then we'll piece our pieces together. This is going to go on using dimensionals. Let me grab my bigger dimensionals here. And then I think the only other thing that I need to do is just cover over that pink heart, and then I think I will be happy with this. This can go on flat. And this will get popped up. Okay. So now I know if you guys have been with me this whole time, because man, this is the longest Facebook Live. Hey, we're going on an hour now. I had pulled these out from last month, but I think what I want to do is I want to stick with these stars. These stars look just a little bit too different. So I think I am going to, let's just see here. I think I'm going to add, because remember I said that that seemed a little bit plain. I was going to add, might add something to this. So I think I will add just a couple on the outside, maybe 3. So something like that. And let's see, I don't know if it's quite big enough to cover. It's not quite big enough, but I think what I could do is I've got this 1/4 inch punch, and if I punched, let's see, I've got this little scrap piece. I punched out a little piece of this, put it over top, and then put the star over top of that. That will cover that heart. All right. And actually, I wouldn't even need to add the star if I didn't want to, but I'm going to. Okay, so grab my Take Your Pick tool and a bit of Tombow. You almost need two Take Your Pick tools. One for if you're picking up these little pieces, but then you need another one to help you put the sequins back down. Okay, we're almost done, guys. For those of you who've been here from the beginning, thank you. Hopefully I haven't put you to sleep. Okay, all right, so our pocket page is done. Let me slide this stuff out of the way and we'll see how much of the facing page we can get in here as well. And I may go back and add some stars on the facing page just to pull in those little stars. Okay. Let's slide this over. So this piece here, this is likely where I will add my journaling. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Okay, and then here's the facing page. You're not going to be able to quite see it. This will be replaced with a 4x6 photo. I can't share it because it's got all the kids in it. So that's the 12x12 page. So I'll bring it up a little closer so you can see it. So I've added washi tape along the top. I did the metal over here, another strip of washi tape here, and a strip at the bottom. And then this is going to sit next to this page. And I'll have a picture on my blog. I'll post a picture of the two pages together so that you can kind of see how it looks. All right. Oh, well, thanks, guys. You guys are so nice. I always think, man, I kind of ramble. But anyways, yeah, I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. Like I said, I will snap a photo and share that on my blog a little bit later. It'll take me a while to do the blog post, but thanks so much for sticking through this. And I'd love to hear how you're going to use this kit. And just a reminder, if you have fallen in love with this kit and didn't get a chance to purchase it, I do still have 2 kits if you want one. So just let me know. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye, guys.